we go. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Pause, Breathe, Move, session 5. And this one is focused on sleep. Today's speakers is Dr. Mary Catherine Lindquist and Dr. Peggy Swarbrick. Next slide, please. Just a little bit about us. The Northeastern Caribbean. This webinar is sponsored by the Northeastern Caribbean Mental Health Technology Transfer Center, and we're housed at Rutgers School of Health Professions in the Department of Psychiatric Rehabilitation and Counseling Professions. My name is Kati, and I'm the project coordinator of this center. The MHTTC is funded by SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, to enhance the capacity of behavioral health and other related workforces to deliver evidence-based and empirically supported practices to individuals with mental illnesses. We ask that you visit the website at mhttcnetwork.org. Next slide, please. And if you'd like to receive email announcements regarding our future trainings, you can sign up at the bit.ly link that you see on the screen. I will also include this link in the chat box. Next slide, please. And we also want to let you know that following the webinar, you'll be asked to complete a brief survey, and we value this feedback and use it to improve our activities and inform future activities. The surveys are also important because of the continued funding that is linked to the completion of these surveys. So we thank you in advance for your feedback. Next slide, please. We also want to let you know that this webinar is being recorded and will be posted to our website along with the slide deck in the next couple of days. Next slide, please. And we ask that you review our disclaimer once the PowerPoint slide is posted on our website. Next slide, please. During this presentation, our presenters may want to interact with you. Sometimes they will launch a poll, or they'll ask you to enter your responses in the Q&A or in the chat box. So please feel free to utilize these functions, and you can also control who sees your message by selecting the panelists or panelists and attendees. Next slide, please. We just want to also inform you that the MHTTC network uses affirming, respectful, and recovery-oriented language in all of its activities. This includes language that is strength-based and hopeful, and language that is inclusive and accepting of diverse cultures, genders, perspectives, and experiences, language that is healing-centered and trauma-responsive, language that invites individuals to participate in their own journey, language that is person-first and free of labels, that is also non-judgmental and avoids assumptions, and that is respectful, clear, and understandable and consistent with our actions, policies, and products. Slide, please. Now at this time, I'd like to introduce Dr. Mary Catherine Lindquist. She's the project coordinator or the program coordinator for COPSA, Institute for Alzheimer's Disease and Related Disorders at Rutgers University, UVHC. And Dr. Peggy Swarbrick, Associate Director of the Center for Alcohol and Substance Use Studies and Research Professor at the Graduate School of Applied and Professional Psychology, and also works with the Collaborative Support Programs of New Jersey. Welcome, everyone, and I'll turn it over to Peggy.
Great. Well, thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining. This is Peggy, and I'm here with Mary Catherine. Thank you for joining us for our last in this series of Pause and Breathe and Move for Sleep. And we really are excited to go into this session to kind of really reinforce the self-care skills we've been reviewing over the last couple of weeks. And if you haven't joined us, we'll be doing a recap. And as Kati said, you can go back and look at the other webinars that we've done in this series. We want to congratulate you for just taking the time today. We know everybody's quite busy. There's a lot of challenges. So taking this time for yourselves is really important. And we're really want to just highlight that today, we're just going to focus on these simple strategies and really want to thank you. Mary Catherine, do you want to just say anything quickly before we start?
Hi, good morning, everybody. We're so glad that everybody is here today to join us. And in addition to training on this a lot, I just want to share with everybody that this has made a big difference in my life too. So I have been doing this. We've probably been doing this for 2 or more years now, Peggy. And I've really integrated the pause, the breathe, and the move, and my sleep has improved greatly. So I'm speaking from experience. There's a lot of science behind everything we are going to share with you today, and it does work. work. So thank you for being here today to find out more about it. And we hope that this is really an added benefit to your life as well.
Yeah, so yeah, great. It works. It really does work for so many of us. So we're going to look at the benefits of sleeping for overall well-being part of it. It will reinforce probably a lot of things you know, but maybe strengthen that resolve to really do something, because we know that it's such an important element of sleep. Thinking about things that we can do to prepare for sleep and really start to think about an intentional plan that you might think about using any of the pause, the breathe, the move, the nourish strategies to bring into your routine. So really kind of pulling it all together. What we're really looking to focus in on today is to kind of see. So we want to start out, Mary Catherine's going to do a little poll. We want to just see how's it going in terms of sleep.
So everybody, if you could, I think we're going to, Katia, are you going to put our poll up there for us? We're going to have some questions for you here. And we'd love to hear how your sleep is going these days. And the choices will be, is it excellent, very good, good but not enough, or poor? So there we go. Everybody just click how your sleep is, and then we'll review our community results here. And it looks like our responses are coming in, and it looks like the majority of our friends here today are saying good, but not enough. So the next category is poor, and some people are chiming in that theirs is good. So there we see for all of us, we all have room for improvement, right? We all want to have better sleep. We'd all love to be up in the excellent range. So hopefully we're going to learn some tips today that will help us get up to that excellent range.
Yeah, so yeah, thank you so much, everyone, just to kind of see where we're at with that. Where, you know, good, but not enough. So that's good. That's better. That's a positive. We like to think about the strengths, but how can we improve it? Can we make it better? And again, we have a pretty good group here with the feedback. You're saying that your sleep is good, and that's important. Again, where it's going to talk about why it's important, and then the work that you do in healthcare and education and the other settings you might work. This is an area so many people have challenges in, and it affects so much aspects of functioning. So let's just take a quick look here. We'll move the poll. I'm going to move this down here to thinking about how much sleep is enough. And again, the science around this kind of has been pretty consistent over time. Is that, many times, as adults, we need about 7 to 8 hours. Sometimes that becomes more, but as younger, as people who are especially working with younger folks and younger people, that more sleep, there is the need for sleep. And there's so much important aspects of getting the right amount of sleep for yourself. Everyone has a certain body clock, a rhythm that, some people say I can get by with 6 or 7, I need about 9. You hear different ranges. But it's so important for ourselves and for others to really be in tune with what is a good amount, because it really can be important. One of the things that we have heard over time too, which happens a lot of times with people in different kind of work, is that people will catch up or make up for sleep. And then we really have looked at the literature on that and just see that catching up on sleep sometimes can be not such a great thing. That it's important. What we see in some of the science coming out about this is that having more of a consistent pattern over time is important. And why is that? Why do we need this sleep? There's so many implications of inadequate sleep, right? It affects our mood, it can affect our memory, affects our cognitive skills, ability to complete tasks, our performance in school and work, and our other social roles can be impacted in a negative way. And also, it also can have other kinds of things that affects our, pain issues. If we have pain, it can affect in terms of weight gain, food, it has a lot of things about our eating patterns. Our hormones are impacted, our cardiovascular systems can be impacted. So it kind of increases our risk of physical health problems, many physical health problems, but it also affects our mood. So the mind-body connection, the food, our physical health and our mental health can be really impacted. So we really want to really be mindful that sleep is so important, and why we can think about using the strategies over these simple strategies that can really help us.
Oh, thank you, Peggy, for informing us about all that. I think we all feel better after a good night's sleep, right? And we feel better when we're getting that good night's sleep consistently. So, but it's hard. It's hard for so many reasons, right? We all have a lot of demands in our lives, both at home and also on the job. And especially over the past year and a half, we've had a lot of extra changes and extra challenges that we've had to deal with, right? So all of those things can increase the stress in our lives. So something that's important for us to realize is that we may have little control over some things in our lives, over some situations that we're in, but we can control how we react physically, mentally, and emotionally. By changing how we react to the situation still occurs, but we can feel less stress. So, and this applies to our sleep too. So for each one of us who is here today, our situation is unique, right? We all have different work situations. We all have different family situations. So it's up to us to decide what works best for us when we are in stressful situations. So we're going to just quickly review some of the things that we have reviewed in the previous sessions. Pause and breathe. This is something that can help us deal with stress. Just stopping for a moment, noticing what's around you, checking in with yourself, reminding yourself how it feels to step off of the treadmill of life, and taking a deep breath. Pause and breathe, so very helpful. Nourishing yourself. We've talked about this. Eating well nourishes your body, and doing things that you enjoy too nourishes your mind. Finding ways to feed our whole selves is so important for our health. And it's important to find the right balance between work and between the rest of your life as well. We've talked about move before. For many people, moving mindfully can help reduce stress. Stretching and other mindful movements can calm us, and it can energize us, and it can help us feel more in control and boost our health over time. So today we're going to talk about how we can use these three things to help support our sleep as well. Now, sleep is critical because it helps us heal from all the busyness of our day and all the things that we have to do. Our mind needs to recharge, just as our body needs to recharge, and sleep helps us do that. Let's look at how we can make sleep a priority. So in the previous webinars, we encouraged you to use the pause throughout the day, and that just involves stopping whatever you're doing, checking in with yourself, and seeing how you're doing and pausing. Now, regularly practicing this can make it easier over time for you to turn off your thoughts, or at least slow them down or lower the volume. So I don't know about everybody else who's here, but I know for me for sure, especially when I go to bed at night, sometimes my thoughts are screaming at me about all the things that didn't happen right or are still left undone. So it can be hard to turn down those thoughts. When we stop and we take the pause throughout the day, that makes that muscle stronger, that pause muscle stronger. So then we do need it at those critical times, like when we're trying to go to sleep, we can call upon that and it will work quicker and faster for us. So taking time to pause and relax throughout the day is helpful. And then also taking a more extended period to do that right before you go to bed. Some people find it helpful to do that a good half an hour to 45 minutes before it's time to go to bed. Just unplug mentally and literally from all the screens that we're attached to. From your phone, from the TV, from the computer. That can be a more extended pause that you take that can have positive benefits for your sleep. Pause will help you sleep, and so will our second strategy, breathe. And let's just take a quick moment and take a pause. Check in with yourself. And let's take a nice deep breath. Breathe in and breathe out. And let's do one more just because it feels so good. Breathe in and breathe out. Thank you, everybody, for engaging in that pause and breathe break together. And that simple, it took what, maybe 3 seconds for us to do that. Doing that throughout the day can help us support our good sleep routines in the evening as well. So let's look a little bit at some things that kind of help us sleep and some things that kind of keep us awake. I think we all probably have a big list of things that keep us awake at night, right? But many of us have nighttime distractions. Many of us might have other people in the home with us who might have a different sleep-wake schedule than we do. So that could be disturbing to us. Work that we have to do that could be hanging over our heads. We might be thinking about that when we're going to bed. We might have family obligations. We might have to go pick somebody up late at night, who doesn't have a ride. We might have home care responsibilities that we have to tend to make sure that the family is able to function the next day. We could be caregiving for someone at home, right? And sometimes that's a 24/7 job. Some of us might have jobs. Some of us might have 2 jobs, right? We do one day job and then we come home and we do an evening job, or we do a nighttime job as well. So all of those things can impact our sleep. If we have pain, that can keep us awake at night. If we're grieving, whatever we've lost, people or other things in our lives, that can impact our sleep as well. And if we've experienced trauma, all those things can impact our sleep. On the other side, there are things that can help us sleep as well. And we see we have some of these things that are listed here. So going to bed at the same time, right, and getting up at the same time every day, keeping a good schedule can help us with that. Avoiding caffeine, alcohol, keeping our meals light, not drinking a lot of water right before we go to bed, drinking all our water, more in the daytime, having the right temperature in your room. These are all things that can really help improve our sleep. So, and we're going to have a chance to share some of those things too. So does anybody want to share now? Maybe is there something that you're doing now that really works for you that helps you get a good night's sleep? Take a moment and share with us in chat.
Yes, does any?
Take a moment and share with us in chat. Is there anything that you're doing that's helping you get a good night's sleep right now? We would love to hear about that. So as we're waiting for people to kind of send some responses in there, Kathleen sharing going to bed earlier. Thank you, Kathleen. Yes, sometimes that helps, right? A gratitude list. Yes. Thank you. Beautiful. We love that. Having an early dinner, I like that too, right? Sometimes if we go to bed too full, it impacts our sleep. I do a 1 to 2 minute meditation because it's better than the 30 minutes I don't have, and then I read in bed. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. No caffeine after 12 noon. Thank you for sharing that too. Turning off electronics, write down worries to deal with tomorrow. Wonderful, everybody. So everybody is already doing wonderful things to help support your sleep. Thank you, everybody, for sharing those things. So let's talk about a few strategies. Some people have already mentioned these strategies, so maybe there is something that we're going to review that you might find helpful for yourself, or something that someone else has mentioned here today. But many people find that anxiety keeps them awake. So their pre-sleep routines need to be restful antidotes to the stress of the day. Sometimes creating mental fatigue is a way that helps people fall asleep. Like, remember the old saying, to count sheep, that makes your mind kind of be tired. So doing something like that can help you sleep. Somebody mentioned reading books. That can be a good thing too. Some people find doing a little puzzle, either by yourself or with someone who's in the house with you, that can create some mental fatigue as well. Some other tips, and one of our participants today has mentioned this, thank you so much. Keep a small notepad and a pen nearby. Instead of worrying about what you have to do tomorrow, write it down and get it out of your mind. That is a wonderful suggestion. And our participant here mentioned listing gratitude things too. Some people find it helpful to list those things in a journal. Also, if you wake up in the night and you're having trouble going back to sleep, you can take a pause and a breathe break. Think thoughts that nourish your mind. You may also find it helpful to get up and do some of the simple stretches that we reviewed in earlier sessions. And then finally, think about your caffeine too. Think about stopping that earlier in the day. One of our participants says that she doesn't have caffeine after 12 noon. So everybody knows what works best for themselves. And we have a few people who are sharing here exercising. Thank you for sharing that. Wonderful. So helpful. And go outside and breathe and meditate. Yes, very helpful. Even if you can't go outside and it's the middle of the night, or you don't want to go outside, open your window and suck in some of the clean air from outside. And also putting my phone on low tone or silent mode. Yes, those things are all very, very important. So these are just some simple things that you can do to kind of support your sleep going forward.
Great. Yes. So again, what we've done today, we've looking at the whole series that we've gone through over the last 5 sessions, the pause. Mary Catherine gave you a experience of seeing how you could use the pause and breathe. I love just doing that every once in a while. And as Mary Catherine said, we've all been doing this for a couple of years now, and it really helps. So practicing that throughout the day or during the time to prepare for sleep can be a strategy. The moves, and we're talking about that exercise, everybody's body clock is different. I'm a big person around knowing your rhythm. So figuring out your rhythm and developing habits and routines that best build you the rhythms that basically help you basically meet your needs, but also to be able to accomplish what you need. The nourishment of the body and the mind. And really, again, it all really affects sleep as well as other aspects of our performance. And really just thinking about these simple strategies, which if you haven't been to the others, you can go and get those. We can also at the end, we'll show you where you can download our workbook on this material to really be able to help you, because we know that these strategies have helped so many people, and we're hoping that they'll continue to help you in your work. And again, it's paying it forward, giving it to others, sharing with others these strategies, because we do know a lot of people are dealing with stress. Mary Catherine, there's a question to answer. What do you mean by creating mental fatigue?
Mental fatigue would be keeping your brain busy and doing something that's challenging for your brain, and that can make people a little bit tired. So like the counting sheep, like to kind of focus on something, or the idea about doing a puzzle, Sudoku or crossword puzzle, something like that, or reading a book. Some people find it helpful to keep their brain active through reading, maybe read something challenging, and then you will get tired. How many times do people read books and they drift off to sleep because they created some mental fatigue for themselves? But it's different for everybody too. And if anybody has anything that they're doing to create mental fatigue, please share that with us too. Thank you.
So again, what we did, the resources are here in this material. If you want to go back there, and you can get all of the practice sessions. We have Dr. Susan Gold-Fogarite, who goes through the practices that we've done over the course of the time. The material is up there. Just please note that it's in English and Spanish. The videos in English and Spanish. The books are in English and Spanish. They're all downloadable access. Please take a look at them, share them, give us your ideas on how they're working for you. And again, these are the resources. And we did want to let you know, though, we are very excited because we have created this material that we've developed for the COPSA program that we've been using widely for the last couple of years. We've adapted it based on this series. We have created a mini version to be able to help your people like yourselves or other colleagues to be able to perhaps start to do these small segments for your colleagues or your people you're serving in your workspaces. So you can join us for a Pause, Breathe, and Move self-care program implementation. It's like we're going to do a 1-hour session on the 24th of June for 12 to 1. It's going to learn. It's a way to use this in your setting. Do these small, either half an hour, or even 15 minutes. We put the material together so you can chunk it out, whatever it works in your setting. We're going to go over the manual for the 1 hour, and then we're going to offer 3 sessions that will be available in July, from July to August. There'll be 3 sessions, which will be, the dates will be outlined, that will be offering technical assistance to be able to help you perhaps implement them in your setting. So we're really excited that you'll join us for that, and more information should be available through the Technical Assistance Center. But before we end, we just want to see, today we've gone over the sleep, we've gone over some of the importance of sleep, showed how the Pause, Breathe, Move, Nourish strategies can really help enhance our sleep, the importance of sleep. So we'd like to either hear from you what strategies you will, you're going to use, any of the things new today that you're going to use to get a better night's sleep. We know that many of you had a good night's sleep, what we have learned in the poll, but is there anything that you will use or anything you might share with others, especially if you are already doing pretty good? What could you share from today? We'd like some feedback about that. Put it into the chat.
We have some people sharing grateful list, going to try the grateful list. And we have someone who shared, I do that every night when we're talking about mental fatigue, reading and playing a game on my phone. And about an hour later, I find myself going to sleep, laugh out loud. Love it. Thank you. Yes. Sleep journal is a great idea. Thank you for sharing. I will incorporate the pause. Thank you. Turn the television off, exclamation point. Hard for all of us, but see how that goes. Thank you. Reinforces that eating dinner earlier is better for me. Wonderful. Thank you. And consistent times for bedtime and arising. Yes. Wonderful. Thank you. And I think it's important for us to know too, we have to think earlier in the day, in the morning, what am I going to do today to set myself up for success with sleep at nighttime, right? So we can't think about it 11 o'clock at night. We think about it earlier in the day to kind of set our day up right too. Consistent times for bedtime and arising. Thank you for sharing. Live for the moment and not worry about things beyond my control. Yes, wonderful goal for all of us. And diffuse essential oil, lavender, and soaking music. Love that. That sounds wonderful. And prayers. Wonderful. So much. Thank you for sharing that. Wonderful.
So feel free to add more. We appreciate your time. Any other questions, please let us know. We'll stay on for a little bit of time, but we want to really thank you for being part of this series today, focusing on Pause, Breathe, Move, Nourish, and Sleep, and being part of this whole series. And we're hoping you'll join us on the 24th of June. And perhaps if you're interested in putting a program like this on in your setting, we have some tools and resources that will be available, and we'll provide some technical assistant coaching sessions over the summer for you. So thank you all for your time. Thank you for taking the time for yourself and really trying to really be able to help ourselves so we can pass it on to the others that you serve. And thank you for your service in the work that you do. And the link to sign up for the 24th, Patty, that will go, how will that, how can we get that out?
Thank you for your question. Yes, we will email everyone a registration link once we have all of the promotional flyer out. We will email all the registrants for our series. So be on the lookout for that email.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we're wishing everybody many nights of very restful sleep.
Restful sleep and beautiful days to follow.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.